Mordecai, get over here this second or you're fired. What the heck, Rigby? What's the matter with you? Ah! Rigby! Ah! 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 Just say my name one more time!